Enter the arena uncut. The Don Juan Banks live from South Korea. Tommy Razorstein, don't go anywhere. It is time for us to cover Ronda Rousey after loose teeth, being concussed, plastic surgery, being knocked out. She says she will retire or beat Holly Holm, and her next fight will be against Holly Holm. She was knocked out at UFC 193 in the second round. It was very brutal. It made the world stand still. And we're in the middle of a wildfire in Ronda Rousey's career, and we don't know what's going to be the outcome of her taking this immediate rematch. She's been suspended for 6 months, and she granted ESPN an exclusive interview, and we are on Fox Sports to read the article. And Ronda Rousey revealed all. She broke her silence. She barely can speak with stitches in her mouth. She cannot eat an apple. Her teeth is loose, and she wants to come back. That's why we have Tommy Razorstein, the best MMA analyst on YouTube today, who weighed in on this situation many times. We're going to read the article, but first, before we get into the article, Tommy Razorstein.
What's up, Don?
Yes,
Oh man, I love Ronda,
yes,
and this is hard for me to even talk about a little bit because I love Ronda, and this was my hero. This was my person that I've talked up so much too, and said that she's so amazing. And I'm not going to say that she isn't, but there is a big hole in her game that can be shown. And what she went through right now and what she's going through, I don't want to see her fight until she's ready, and I don't think she's ready until she fills that hole in her game.
Tommy, she was the best. She took MMA for women into a direction that it may have never been without her. She gives ESPN this exclusive interview right after her knockout. Do you think this is a Ronda Rousey thinking clearly? I know it's still fresh in her mind. It's been 3 weeks from the knockout, and we're going to get in this article. But when you hear the title that it says, would Ronda retire? Rousey says she'll either beat Holm or I'll be done with everything. What comes to your mind when you hear that?
Okay, I have said this multiple times in multiple videos where when people have that mindset that's like, okay, if I win, I'll keep going. If I lose, this is my last fight. You know what happens? They lose. So that mindset right there is just terrible. You hear a lot of times people say, win or lose, this is my last fight. No, they usually 100%, almost 100% lose. Or when they say, well, if I lose this one, I'm gonna quit. You lose the fight. Plus, Ronda's never been to the 5th round. So if she does go all the way, this is going to be in her mindset where it's like, why am I going to ruin my face? I'm a pretty girl. Why am I going to destroy my looks? And do I really want this? You're going to really question it. So it isn't until I see a different Ronda that I want to see Ronda fight again, because this Ronda that's out right now saying this stuff is not the Ronda I want to see fighting in a cage. That's just a Ronda that's going out there and doing it because she feels obligated almost. But it isn't that she's hungry. I want to see a hungry Ronda, not someone who's just like doing it because she feels obligated and has to continue fighting because she feels like she has some kind of loyalty to the fans that she needs to fulfill. That's crazy. Don't fight if that's what you're doing, Ronda. If you're saying you can't eat apples until like 3 to 6 months, you won't be able to eat an apple, and your jaw's really that messed up. I mean, I had my face split one time like that. I got 9 stitches in my face. It sucks. It's terrible. You know what I mean? You can't eat right. Everything, tastes terrible. You're always sucking on like blood and it's a horrible taste in your mouth. It's terrible. You get that rocked feeling for a while and you look back and say, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good idea. But the thing with this, with Ronda, was that it wasn't just she got rocked and knocked out. She had her whole entire world flipped upside down. Her game, shown that there's a hole in her game, and it was a blueprint that got put up for everyone to see how to beat Ronda Rousey, unless she is able to fulfill and fill in this hole in their game. It's
Exactly.
really a problem, Don.
You know what, Tommy Razorstein, you hit the nail right on his head. We're not too far out from the knockout. I think it's too early for Ronda to be speaking about what she's going to do in the future. I beat this chick or it's over. I mean, you got to think about it, Tommy. And when we get ready to go through this article of how long it's going to take her before she can get back in the gym, all the training that she's going to have to do, how will she feel? What about the obligations that she has? She has a lot of options, but you can tell that the only thing on her mind is trying to get vengeance. But is that the right decision to make? Because she may be done with everything when she's put in a hospital permanently. Okay? She's talking about loose teeth. She can't eat an apple, spitting out blood, humiliation, embarrassment. It can even get worse. Something you heard the old saying, things can be worse than what they are now. Things can always be worse. Look, let's get through this. I'm going to read this article, and you can cut in at any moment, Tommy Razorstein, because that's what the people want. They want to hear, what you have to say live about this. This is trending all across the world. Everyone take the time to subscribe to Enter the Arena, Uncut, and Razorstein Live. Former UFC women's bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey is committed to returning to the octagon for a rematch with Holm. But if that fight doesn't go her way, it may mean the end of her career in mixed martial arts. And you can cut in at any moment, Tommy. Okay. Rousey is still mired in misery after her disappointing showing she gave in Australia just a few short weeks ago at UFC 193. But there's reportedly no doubt in her mind that she's going to return to face Holm again. Rousey knows that how she will be remembered all depends on the rematch. And if it doesn't go her way, it could well be the end of her career. I guess it's all going to be determined by what happens in the rematch. Rousey told
the rematch, though. I mean, they keep saying the rematch as if like they're trying to talk her into it. It seems like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like she's hungry and wants to do it. It's like it's kind of seems like she's being kind of talked into it. Am I reading into it, or is it that they're trying to build it up and have her fight? But it doesn't sound like she's too hungry. If she has a hard time eating solid food, and she's not in the best mindset right now and hurt, I don't think that she's that hungry. She doesn't sound too hungry right now.
She might literally be hungry and want to eat, and it could be her delusional because of her loose teeth in her mouth. And I don't mean to sound like I'm making a joke out of it, but it does seem somewhat as a joke of her saying that she wants to fight. She couldn't fight Holm today or anyone right now. I mean, if teeth are loose in her mouth and she has stitches in her mouth and she's still trying to shake off the feeling, why are we talking about a rematch? Wouldn't you like an answer as, you know what, let me get through this, suspension, medical suspension. Let me heal up. Let me let time go by, and then I'll give you an answer in this situation.
Don, you ever have a dream? This is a recurring dream that I have all the time. Okay. That I have loose teeth in my mouth.
Oh my God.
And then I lose my teeth. It's a terrible dream. I always have it all the time.
I've had that before.
Isn't it a horrible feeling where it's like you wake up and you're like, oh my God, did I lose teeth? Are my teeth loose? I mean, just imagine if that's like the reality, and every time you wake up, you're like, fuck, this isn't a dream. I really did lose my UFC belt. I lost a lot of sponsors. All my fans, a lot of my fans now hate me, and my teeth are fucking loose. It's not,
Loose teeth.
oh God, it's real. It's a real scenario. Like, no wonder she's saying I'm so fucking sad.
She's depressed. She's sad.
You want this woman to get into a cage and fight the person that just knocked her the fuck out? Like, I love her. I don't want to see her fight like that, man. Not until she's hungry, until she's ready, where she's like, you know, this may take a year at least.
I predict
until she's ready.
A year and she moves back to, you know, she fights top 15 or something like that. She needs time to build herself back up, Tommy.
Have her fight Miesha Tate again.
I think Miesha Tate is the '1 contender for. I believe Miesha Tate is the '1 contender. I'll get into that in a minute. But Manny Pacquiao, Tommy Razorstein, I know you don't like boxing that much, but it's one thing that you do know is he was knocked out cold. Okay, by Juan Manuel Marquez in the 4th round. It took him over a year to make a comeback, and he was able to come back. He was able to get in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. It's difference. It's a big difference between both of them because, you know, Pacquiao beat Juan Manuel Marquez in the past. But I'm thinking she's in a way worse situation. But if she was just to take out the comparison of both of them being knocked out, Pacquiao took a long time off, and Pacquiao didn't speak that much. He just said, you know, he's healing and he will get back in training camp and he will see how he feels and he will, you know, pray. For Rousey,
plus it's different too. I mean, like Ronda Rousey, it wasn't just that she got knocked out. It was how bad, how devastating. You know, how her fans, half her fans turned on her. You know, everyone sold her, you know, Ronda Rousey stock as fast as possible, and everything plummeted. Her fucking coach, who told her, yeah, you're doing a great job, was fucking lying to her. I mean, every single thing has flipped upside down. She loved her coach. And Joe Rogan told her one time that, yeah, she has great striking. No, she doesn't. She has to fill this hole in. I mean, Manny Pacquiao, it wasn't like Manny Pacquiao didn't know how to fucking box. He still didn't know how to box.
Yeah, you're right.
He got caught and knocked out. There's a difference in getting caught and knocked out, where it's like she got fucking killed out there. I mean, she looked like an amateur in the world, you know, of fighting, and she's not. And she looked just as bad as someone that's trying to, you know, do jujitsu with him. Huh?
I was just making the comparison of he took a year off after the knockout.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to, you know, cut in. He said cut in anytime. I want to cut in right there. But like, it was the difference of like her being able to, like, you know, go at the best in the world in judo, you know, and she just destroyed the average person. That's how big of a difference it was between her kickboxing and Holly Holm kickboxing.
She says this, Tommy, everything is going to be determined by that. Either I'll win and I'll keep going, or I won't and I'll be done with everything.
Rousey can't let me say shit like that. That's not a winner mindset. That's like, you know, I'll find something else to do with my life kind of attitude. I feel bad for her. I really feel bad for her.
She's really fucking sad. That's what she's saying she is. She's really fucking sad. Rousey can't exactly pinpoint what went wrong in the first fight. And look, Tommy, I want you to speak whenever you want. She's saying she can't pinpoint what went wrong in the first fight, but she knows that Holm caught her with a shot in the early into the first round, and that changed the course of her performance.
Yeah. And, you know, the crazy thing is this. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, Ronda was cocky. Oh, well, Ronda was like this and Ronda was like that. And she shouldn't have, you know, been rude and not touch gloves. She should have touched gloves and all this other stuff. you know what? There's never been a person like Ronda Rousey before. And for her to learn how to deal with all that, you know, it was really difficult. It was extremely difficult to get questions like, oh, so you're the best out of the women in the 135. Yeah. Well, how do you think you do against men? Well, I think I do well. Do you think you can beat the men? Yeah, I think I can beat the men. What men would beat you? I'm not sure. I don't know. Well, you think you can beat any man?
Like,
And then she has to answer the question like, yeah, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't think she has to answer it as a cage fighter. She can't back down from the question. She has to answer it as if a cage fighter would, you know, a professional, you know, champion would answer it. So she was stuck in a lot of positions where I was like, listen, this is all new territory. You know, a woman has never been in this spotlight before. I don't think a woman's ever been in a spotlight this before in the athletic world. I don't know. I mean, can you recall another time where a woman was like changing the course of society? You know, no one ever thought that.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner. I don't even want to talk about that.
I'm joking. Okay.
But I don't want to talk about that. That's
Rousey remembers.
You know what, fans, if you want to hear a top, if you want me to go off on a tangent, you know, subscribe to Tommy Razorstein and say, Tommy Razorstein, we want you to make a video about that, and I will go off on that video. All right? That's another video.
Live Tommy Razorstein. Rousey remembers getting hit with a punch, but the rest of the first round seemed like a haze, she says. Rousey continued to fight, but things didn't get any easier as Holm stayed on the attack and never gave the highly touted Judica a chance to breathe. I got hit in that first round. I cut my lip open and knocked a couple of my teeth loose. I was out on my feet from the very beginning. I wasn't thinking clearly. I had the huge cut in my mouth, and I just spit the blood out at my feet. Then they brought the bucket over, and I'm like, why didn't I spit in the bucket? I never spit on the ground, Rousey said. It was like a dumbed down, dreamy version of yourself making decisions. I was just trying to shake myself out of it. I kept saying to myself, you're okay, keep fighting, you're okay, keep fighting. I just feel so embarrassed how I felt after that. Is such an embarrassing representation of myself. I wasn't even fucking there. Holm finally put Rousey away. 59 seconds into the second round with a head kick that will likely play in highlight reels for years to come.
Oh man, it's brutal.
Did you get it out? Did you get the image out of your mind yet, Tommy? Because I know I did.
It's hard to get out of my mind, and plus everyone knows I'm a Ronda Rousey fan. So every one of my asshole friends sent me, you know, a video that I've already seen a million times of Ronda getting knocked out. Like, oh, Tom, you like this? Hey, Razorstein, you like this? Thanks, asshole. So it's tough, man. And like Ronda has to watch those same fucking videos. And remember, you know, at one point she was like the pinnacle of, you know, of the social culture at the time. You know, do nothing bitch statements and all that stuff. That she ain't no do nothing bitch. And you know, rappers talking about her, and you know, she's changing society, and she's, you know, changing the image of women. And then the next fucking day, maybe not even the next day, it was the same fucking day within like minutes. Oh, we hate her. Why? That's bullshit, man.
Because people believe in the hype of Ronda Rousey, and they feel like
people didn't understand the technique,
live up to the expectation of it. A lot of people are ignorant and uninformed.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, and we got a lot of boxing fans here, say she just got beat by a boxer, but she just didn't get beat by a boxer. She got beat by a full mixed martial artist, a boxer turned kickboxer turned mixed martial artist. Remember, she escaped the clinch. She escaped the armbar. So that ain't no just damn boxer.
And she got hit with a headlock, and she started throwing Ronda back. You know, Ronda should have been able to throw her with that headlock, Instead, she arched back and threw Ronda back to the canvas, and Ronda wasn't able to get any judo throws off. So it might have been that Ronda was trying to rush something and didn't expect that her judo would be negated like it was. Oh man, I mean, every single thing
wide open like God parting the sea. She looked like she was advertising Kool-Aid. She was the Kool-Aid man. That's what she looked like, with the blood dripping from her mouth. Rousey's fall from grace was made complete by seemingly everyone leaping off her bandwagon and then attacking her for showing so much hubris before the fight. Lady Gaga even chimed in at one point, mocking Rousey and saying she got what she deserved for not touching gloves with Holm at the start of the fight. Rousey looks back now and says her decision not to touch gloves wasn't any more calculated than the intense stare down she shared with Holm at the weigh-in, where the two fighters had to be separated by UFC President Dana White after things turned physical. It was just like a reaction, Rousey said. I was like, the last time I saw you at the weigh-in, you were putting your fist on my chin and trying to get a cheap hit on me. Then you turn around and you want to touch gloves. You have to be one way or the other. So if you want to be that way with me, that's the way it is. You didn't like the way she was going into that fight.
No, I didn't. And I always said that she'll be the champ as long as she doesn't, run into somebody who has killer knockout power. And it's like, uh-oh. Now Holly Holm has knockout power. But you know what? I still think that she'll be able to close the distance, because I didn't think that she would look that bad in her stand-up. And there was that big of a hole in her stand-up. I mean, I went through the tapes. I've analyzed a lot of things. I thought that she would use a little bit more wrestling and possibly go for a low ankle, or possibly go for a single and then press up against the cage and cut corners the right way. Instead, she just chased and went for headshots. And it was like, I thought that she would definitely respect Holly Holm's striking a lot more. Holly Holm, isn't no Beth Cotetta where you can just, chase her around the octagon and fucking swing punches at her.
Exactly. She came in with her head up, her chin up, and her straight line following her, where they tell you in boxing not to do that in all types of sports. These are small gloves, meaning that Holly Holm's power that she had when she was boxing and kickboxing will even be more accentuated when she fights in the cage. Now, Holly Holm, and me and you did our research, she had a lackluster performance against Raquel Pennington in a split decision. She beat Miriam Renew in a unanimous decision. Both of these fights seem to be very, very amateurish to the level of Ronda Rousey. But to see Ronda Rousey do these things was completely horrifying. Let me read this right here. It took Rousey a long time after the fight to even begin to feel somewhat normal again. She traveled from Australia back to Los Angeles before going on a 15-hour drive to Texas with her boyfriend, fellow UFC fighter Travis Brown, on a hunting trip. Despite a break from reality and leaving her phone at home, Rousey still couldn't shake the bad feelings from the fight against Holm. Finally, after Thanksgiving, Rousey's mother, Anne Maria DeMars, visited her and said it was time to woman up and get out of the house. Rousey ended up spending Thanksgiving with her family, and that was maybe the first time she felt normal since the fight. It wasn't long before she was stopping by and telling me that I can't hide my whole life, Rousey said. I have to do something with myself. Turn on my cell phone and stop ignoring everyone. Do you feel like she needed that time to herself?
I think she needs more time to herself. I think that, she's in the public eye all the time. And it's really difficult for her. And I think she gets, viewed more than any other UFC fighter in the game. And she just constantly has paparazzi on her and all sorts of shit. And now it's like she has to deal with her concussion and her physical stat and, everyone ripping her apart. It's fucking bullshit. Bad
Rush to
for her.
the hospital. I mean, me and you cover we cover a lot that's going on with Ronda Rousey, and we love Ronda Rousey. But the fact of the matter is, this brutal knockout has just flipped her entire life upside down. And I think that she needs to be more realistic in saying what she's going to do in the future, instead of saying that she will have an immediate rematch, and if she loses, she's done with everything. You mean you're done with your movie career, you're done with your book career, you're done making appearances? She has so many options. People are going to talk about you no matter what. She's a fighter. She accomplished a lot of things. Get herself back on the horse. Make sure her teeth, get strong again, and train, and see how she feels. And I think that she needs to take her time. She was at the top of the mountain. Now work your way back up, but do not, and I repeat, do not, under any circumstances, if anyone cares about her, if her mother cares about her, there's no way that Ronda Rousey should be getting in a rematch, and I don't care if it's a year from now, against Holly Holm. If that is the case, even if Holm is not the champion, she could have post-traumatic stress disorder, and we don't know how her chin is, and the same results can happen, even worse.
You know what, Don? That was a good point that you made about her mother. And I think her mother says some smart things. And she got in a fight with Ronda's coach.
Yes.
Her mother did. And it might have been over the fact that, it could have been a stand-up. That's like, listen, there's a problem with the stand-up. You keep saying that there's not, but there is. She didn't like the idea that Ronda was chasing Betch in that last fight, or the fight before. So I don't like her chasing. I don't like her doing that. I want her to stick to the judo where she feels more comfortable. So I'm not exactly sure what that fight was between the two, but Ronda's mother might have been right. So Ronda's mother might be giving Ronda some good advice right now and telling her, listen, relax. Calm down. Your emotional state also got you into trouble last time. You ran around and chased somebody and thought you could knock them out because you were emotional in there. That's not what I thought would happen. I thought that she was maybe playing for the cameras a little bit, acting emotional, getting all pissed off. I didn't think that she'd really come out there and fight the way that she was kind of acting. I didn't think she'd chase and start swinging punches all pissed off.
I thought that chin up, following
a sloppy taekwondo stance.
Yes.
And
messy.
Had
Floyd Mayweather say that he'll help her with her boxing. That's embarrassing. To be known as the Michael Jordan of the sport. Rousey knows a shame as she is at her performance against Holly Holm. There will be a rematch in 2016, and that will be her chance at redemption. Rousey isn't looking to reinvent the wheel. She will polish up the areas that Holm exposed her in their fight. Polish up, Tommy. Polish up. This ain't polishing up. This is the entire makeover. This is I don't understand that, Tommy. Polish up.
You can put all the paint you want on the house, but the house still needs restoration. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
They're just going to slap a new coat of paint on the house and go out. Listen, it's going to take 3 to 6 months until you feel comfortable even thinking about taking a punch in the face.
Wow.
You have to be ready to be able to take another shot like that, let alone, get in and start training with the right people to fix that hole that's in your striking department.
She needs hip movement. She needs her chin down.
Movement.
She needs to stop following. She needs to throw a jab. No wide punches. She needs to know how to do angles. She needs to know how to set traps. She needs to use her hands to go into the judo. You know how much stuff we got to work on? He had a bad coach who would let her get away with anything because he was afraid to lose his job, and he was an ignorant man at that. That's why her mother said that about him, and he gave her the wrong advice. and he needs to be fired immediately. Instead of taking these
Yep.
long trips with Travis Brown, her boyfriend, who's a negative influence on her career because his career is not even doing good. You want
Yeah,
to be
he's a
around a
loser.
winner, not a loser. He is on the decline, and everybody says he is. And that gym might be on the decline too, because when things don't go your way, there's a reason why. There's a reason why. And maybe letting
Don,
Ronda
you know what I'm gonna say, right? You know
what?
where I think she should go, right? What
Say
training camp do I think that she should go
AKA.
to? Just finish my sentence. Where would I think that she would benefit in going to?
It cannot be Greg Jackson because Holly Holmes is Greg Jackson.
You know it, man. I mean, come
But
on.
why would you say Greg Jackson and Holly Holmes there? You can't. That's not realistic. Well, you wish
it happened before. It happened before with Rashad. Remember that?
Yeah, but Rashad left.
Yeah, someone's gotta leave.
Well, I'm gonna finish this article. While Rousey's mother made a very public statement just weeks before the fight that she was not a fan of her daughter's head trainer, Edmund Tarverdyan, or his methods, the former UFC women's bantamweight champion is sticking with her trainer.
No, I know it's not logical. I love the
How
idea.
How do you feel about that? What I just read.
That's the only place I think that she would really benefit, and get the right coaching that she needs is to go somewhere like
Jackson about that statement that I just read? They just said exactly what you're talking about. Ronda says she's sticking with him.
God, I can't stand that. Bothers me. It just bothers me so much. I mean, maybe she should go to AKA and she would do well at AKA and train with somebody like Luke Rockhold. I don't know. Luke Rockhold
are scared of change.
Maybe Don Cerrone would teach her some things.
To be uncomfortable. It was like Rocky 3, but I just don't think that
Nick Diaz, have her work with Nick Diaz.
I don't believe it will be like Rocky 3. Even if she did have Apollo Creed or a great trainer train her, but at least the odds would make the odds different. Maybe to make it closer, maybe give her more of a chance of winning. But I will tell you this: if Rocky, when Mick died, then that's when Apollo Creed came in. But what I'm saying is, her trainer didn't die or anything, but it's like he died. It is like he died.
It is a lot like Rocky 3. I mean, she was hungry. She was hungry like Clubber Lang. She was hungry like Clubber Lang, Holly Holm.
Listen to
Ronda Rousey was out there making videos and movies and all sorts of stuff like Rocky was, in Rocky 3. And there's a lot of parallels to Rocky 3 and what happened with Ronda.
But listen to this. If we were to say anything that should be parallel with Rocky 3 is that she should be training somewhere else. I don't know why she wants to stay with this man in that gym with Travis Brown. They are holding her back, and the same thing will happen again if she stays with this guy and goes into the rematch in this year, which I don't believe it.
This is Rocky 3. This is Rocky 3.
I don't even want to watch the fight again because Rousey is she is one of the best. Maybe things might go her way, but there's a bigger chance that it may not.
Yeah, there's the 3 elements right there for it to be like similar to Rocky 3. She was like Clubber Lang, she was hungry. Ronda was like Rocky, doing movies on all sorts of stuff. Not taking it as serious as she needed to. And the third part is she needs different training.
That's what she needs.
She definitely does, man. She needs
and we're here training. To tell you that. Take the time to subscribe. Rousey, we only got 2 minutes left. Rousey never has had another head coach for her MMA fights, and the trainer will be right by her side when she makes her comeback next year. Of course, I'm saying the trainer, Rousey, said, that's my mom's opinion, not mine. Many speculated after the loss to Holm that maybe Rousey wouldn't return at all. With a growing movie career, Rousey's filmed at least 2 movies in 2016, while her autobiography, My Fight, your fight is being adapted into a full-length feature. There was speculation that maybe this loss would be enough to drive her from the sport. Rousey says that couldn't be farther from the truth. Of course I'll fight again, Rousey said. What else I'm going to fucking do? 1 minute left, Tommy. I mean, 1 minute left.
It just feels terrible. It feels wrong. I don't like it. It feels awful. It just feels terrible. It's like, no, don't get back into the cage until you're hungry, until you're ready. Just don't do that because you've learned to make a living doing this, and this is what you do. That's how you end up like Mirko Krokov.
You got 30 seconds.
That's a powerful statement. I like that. End up like Mirko Krokov, you get fucked up. You don't know what's happened to Mirko Krokov. I don't know how many brain cells that guy has in his head left. You know what I mean? And he's just fighting just a fight. He doesn't know any other way kind of life. And I want to see that to happen to Ronda.
For the best MMA analyst in YouTube today, Tommy Razorstein and Teflon Don Juan Branks. It's Into the Arena Uncut. Peace.
Peace out. All right.
1 second. 1 second.